Look out, this Social Security change may bring riots to the streets. I have all the details and what you need to know right here in the video, so let's get right into it. All right, now in this video, I do want to share with you a recent announcement that is already bringing riots to the streets and may have huge impacts to Social Security. Now, the announcement that I'm referring to is out of the country of France, but I want to talk about what's going on in France right now for their pension program, which is the equivalent of Social Security in that country, and what it may mean for Social Security right here in the United States. We've got a lot to talk about, and things are changing rapidly. Therefore, this is also very important what is going on in France, because you better believe the lawmakers here in the United States are looking at exactly what they're doing over there, and they may be implementing those changes right here in the United States as well. Therefore, let's get into it and talk about what's going on. However, really quickly before we do, thanks so much for joining me. If you're enjoying this video so far and you want more like it, please make sure to subscribe down below. It's totally free to do so. I'm here for you right by your side each and every day, watching all this new information hitting the wire, doing the necessary research, and breaking it all down into these short videos, as it's a very busy, confusing, and uncertain time right now. I want to make sure that you're staying updated with everything going on and how it may impact you, your money, your benefits, your lifestyle, your bank account, and of course, anything popping up you can possibly grab and or take advantage of. So again, thanks so much for joining me. Please subscribe down below if you haven't done so, and let's get into it and talk about France, what they're doing with their pension program, how people over there are very, very upset by this, and what this may translate into here in the United States for Social Security and the millions and millions of people who rely on this program for their monthly income. All right, so let's take just a minute or two here and talk about what is going on in France, as well as a couple other countries around the globe right now, what they're discussing and what they are actually implementing. And then, of course, we will bring it all full circle back here to the United States and discuss why this is such a big deal, what's going on around the globe and these other countries, and how this may impact Social Security. All right, so first off, let's quickly talk about France. Just the other day, they announced they are raising the full retirement age for their pension program in the country of France from 62 to 64. So they're raising it by 2 full years. Now, let me explain the details, what's going on over there, and why this is such a big deal, okay? So here in the United States, obviously, the way that they pass through legislation, bills, and things like that is they pass it through the Senate, they pass it through the House, or either way around, it doesn't really matter, and then they pass it on to the president, where he signs it, and then it turns into law, right? That is the traditional way that laws are made and bills are passed here in the United States, right? Now, there's another way that they can do it. They can also do executive order, where it does not go through the congressional process, as in it's not voted on in Congress, but rather the president just pulls it out, basically signs it, and then boom, there you go. You got yourself a law, right? So that is something that can also happen as well. However, when it comes down to Social Security, generally those things cannot be done through executive order, okay? It must go through the House, must go through the Senate, and then move on to the president for his signature. However, here's what they're doing in France and why people are so incredibly mad about this. So, in France, the process is a little bit different. However, it's very much the same, okay? The language that they use, the verbiage that they use, the terminology that they use is different, but essentially it's the same process, okay? So rather than going through the congressional process over there, or their equivalent of it, as in working its way through Parliament, basically what they're doing is they're just working it the way through essentially the equivalent of executive order over there, okay? That is why people are so upset about this. It is not a matter of everybody in Parliament deciding, okay, this is what we're going to do, we're going to pass it through the traditional way, but rather it's a small handful of people that are saying, we're going to do this, and we're just going to sign it into law. That's it, okay? That is why people are losing their minds over there, and why people are so incredibly mad about this, is because they don't really have any say in this at all. And it's not going through the traditional process, but rather they're just bringing it in and essentially saying, hey, we've got this thing called an executive order. It's not an executive order, what they call it, but it's essentially the same as an executive order over there, and they're just basically signing it into law. That is what's making people so upset. Well, according to what I've been reading about this, about 1 million people right now are taking to the streets, like doing a bunch of different things, like burning garbage and like burning pallets and stuff like this. They're super mad about this, which, by the way, I am not saying we should hit the streets right now. I am not saying that we should riot or anything like that. I am not endorsing that, okay? So please don't say that. Please don't do that, okay? I'm not saying that we should. But I'm saying in France that they're very upset about this, and this is how they're showing their disappointment and their disgust about this situation. Let me describe what this actually means here. So obviously their pension over there, now obviously they call it pension, we call it Social Security, but essentially it's literally the same thing, okay? Like I said, the verbiage, the terminology, it's all different, but essentially it's literally the same thing, okay? So they're changing it by 2 years, from 62 to 64. Well, here in the United States, they want to do essentially the exact same thing. But again, let me get to that here in just a minute. All right, so that's what's going on in France and why people are so incredibly upset about this. Now let's talk about a couple other countries. China and Japan, I've been reading about them as well. They are doing essentially the same thing, where they are also raising the full retirement ages in those countries as well, essentially forcing people to remain in the workforce for even longer, okay? Now, let's bring it back here to the United States here and discuss what this means for Social Security, and again, why this is such a big deal. Now, here's the thing. Why do we care about these other countries? Here's why we care. Because just about everything, just like a company that develops a new product or a new service, just like a government around the globe, just like, literally everything, okay? Copycats, right? The famous copycat. That is why. Because lawmakers here in the United States, you better believe they're watching what's going on in France. They're watching the different decisions that are being made around the globe with all these other countries out there, how they are raising their full retirement ages. Just like the copycat mentality or the herd mentality, as soon as one person does it, everybody else jumps on the bandwagon and says, oh, wow, that's a great idea. Maybe I should do that too, okay? Or they do like a copycat. They just literally copy the exact same thing because they don't have any original ideas of their own. And they say, why don't I just copy that person? They got success with it. Why don't I do the same thing? So that is what we're probably going to see here as well, okay? I could go on and on with examples, but you see this all the time. Just think of it like, think of the first smartphone that was developed, right? Let's just say back in 2007, the smartphone was developed, the iPhone, I believe. What happened then? Immediately after the iPhone was developed, what else was brought out? Tons of other smartphones from other carriers and other brands and stuff like that, right? They literally are just copying each other, okay? Well, that's why we got to watch this. We got to watch out for the copycat lurking around out there, okay? That is what I'm talking about here in the United States, is these lawmakers here in the United States, they've already been talking about all these different things where they want to raise the full retirement age here in the United States as well, okay? Let's talk about it and what this may mean for Social Security here in the U.S. and what it may mean for current beneficiaries or those individuals who are very close to claiming Social Security benefits. All right, so here's what's interesting about it. Over the last couple of years here, we've seen a lot of talk about lawmakers coming out saying, maybe we should raise the full retirement age from 67 to 68, maybe 69, maybe 70. Now, over the last couple of years, we've seen a lot of talk about raising it from 67 to 68, maybe 69, but those ideas are pretty much gone. Now it's out to 70. Yeah, right? So what they've done is now they're talking about moving out to the age of 70 as in the full retirement age. Now again, just remember this much. It's like the goalpost, okay? Picture this analogy, right? The football game is played. I don't know much about football, so stick with me on this. I'm just doing my best here, okay? Let's just say that they're lining up for a field goal kick at the 20-yard line, right? So they're lined up, getting ready to kick, and right before the guy kicks the ball, they say, just kidding, we're going to move the goalpost back another 20 yards. And now he's saying, you kidding me? This was an easy shot, 20 yards, and now we're sitting here at 40 yards. Now I'm going to have to step back a couple more and take a little bit more of a run for it, right? So it's kind of the same thing. They keep moving the goalposts out. So that's why people are so upset in France and what's going on here in the United States as well. Now, this is very likely to happen here in the United States as well. Now, as of right now, they're talking about raising the full retirement age. They have not done it yet, but I can tell you this much. The likelihood of this happening is very, very high. They're pretty much going to do this, okay? Whether we like it or not, and we're not going to like it. A lot of people are not going to like this, but they will most likely do this. The chances of them not pushing out the full retirement age here in the U.S. is honestly, in my opinion, very small, okay? They will likely raise the full retirement age, and they will likely raise taxes. This is a couple things that I anticipate they will likely do. Probably, well, I'm not going to say guaranteed, but I'm going to say the chances are very, very high of them doing this. Now, let's talk through the details and who this may impact. Let me say this much. If you are currently receiving benefits from Social Security, okay, if you're already receiving Social Security retirement benefits, this will not impact you, okay? This is not going to have any impact to you or your benefit as of now. Not bad, right? However, I do know that there are a lot of you here that watch this channel and watch the videos right here that I bring to you that are on the cusp of starting to claim your benefits. Maybe you're a year out, maybe you're a few months out, maybe you're 2 or 3 or 5 years out, and you're trying to do all the research now to determine what is the best time for you to claim your monthly benefits from Social Security, which, by the way, congratulations, right? Amazing. Super cool to be in that position where you're right there ready to grab those benefits. I know, a huge relief for a lot of people and very exciting as well to finally sign up and start grabbing those monthly checks out of Social Security. However, here's what they're suggesting. And again, I've seen tons of proposals on this coming out. This is what seems to be the most popular of them. However, I want to make this very clear before I say it. This is not written in stone yet. It is not for sure yet, but this is the most popular kind of objective that I've seen and the most popular approach that I've seen going forward. So, just like as we know as of right now, basically anybody born between 1954 through 1960 has a full retirement age anywhere between the ages of 66 and 67. For every year that they were born after 1954, you essentially add 2 months to the full retirement age. So 66, 66 and 2 months, 66 and 4 months, 66 and 6 months. It keeps going on like that out until the year of 1960, where the full retirement age is 67 years old. Now, according to what they're talking about right now, they want to push this out by increasing the full retirement age by about 2 months for everybody born after 1960, okay? So according to what I'm looking at and according to what it looks like right now, and then again, let me say this again, it is not written in stone yet. This is not passed through Congress yet, but I can tell you this much, they're probably going to do it, okay? So we got to be prepared with what's coming here. And maybe this will be changed a little bit. Maybe they will adjust the way that this is calculated. Maybe they will adjust the way that this is going to be increased, but this is what they're projecting right now, okay? That's what I'm telling you because this is the information that I have as of now. But here's what they're looking at. Anybody born essentially in 1961, okay? That's when it would start. The full retirement age of this person would be 67 and 2 months. Born in 1962. 67 and 4 months, 1963, 67 and 6 months. And it's going to continue to go on and on like that all the way out until we reach the age of 70, okay? So essentially, what is that, 36 months out, right? Well, I believe that's right. So anyway, that's what they're considering right now. So this would push the full retirement age out to the age of 70 for those people all the way out until I believe somewhere around the mid-70s, okay? So if you're born anywhere between basically 1960 to the mid-70s, that's how we would figure this out. And that is what they're talking about as of right now. So that's why this is a big deal, okay? Moving the goalposts out again, even if it's just a couple months, who cares? It's still goalposts that are being moved out, right? So like the analogy that I gave you a couple minutes ago, which was the field goal kicker sitting there with the ball on the 20-yard line, ready to get lined up for that kick, and all of a sudden they say, hey, just kidding, we're going to move it out by another 5 yards, okay? That'd be equivalent to a couple months, right? Not cool. It's there. It's still maybe an easy kick, but at the same time, it's still a little bit further, and the chances of missing it, or things like that, margin of error, and then again, there's just so many different things that could happen as a result of that, okay? That's why you got to continue watching all this stuff, and this is what's going on. So the big deal that's going on in France is mostly, number one, they're pushing out that full retirement age, and number two, they're doing it through their equivalent of an executive order of what they would do here in the United States, okay? That is why it's such a big deal, is because they're not following the traditional trajectory of how they get laws passed in France, through Parliament, but rather they're just saying, we're just going to get this done here, okay? We're just going to do it. Does anybody like that? I think all of us could probably agree. No, we want it to go through the traditional process of if they're going to do this, do it the right way, rather than like one person saying, I'm just going to write an executive order on this thing and get it done. Which, by the way, according to my understanding, this cannot be done through executive order here in the United States. Now, again, a lot of the things when it pertains to Social Security must be done through the traditional process. So that is why that's pretty nice here in the U.S., okay? So anyway, this is something we got to continue watching, and especially with all these other countries out there right now, like China and Japan talking about this. These are just a couple of the countries that I've seen talking about this. I'm sure there's others out there as well, because there are a lot of other countries out there that do have equivalents to Social Security, like other pension different programs. Now again, they're called all kinds of different things around the globe, but essentially they're the exact same thing as Social Security, okay? That's very important stuff. Anyway, I want to bring this all full circle to you. This just broke a couple days ago. I wanted to do additional research on this, kind of watch this thing play out here, but it looks like, according to my understanding, this next week, so in a matter of just days right now, it looks like they're going to be signing this thing into law in France. So yeah, it's going to be interesting to watch this thing play out. So anyway, when it comes down to it, we've got to watch the lawmakers here in the United States, because they're going to have copycat syndrome. They're going to watch and say, oh, wow, look what they did. It wasn't that big of a deal. You know, people are burning pallets and burning garbage and all kinds of stuff, showing their disappointment. Not that big of a deal. We'll just do it here in the U.S. You know what I mean? So again, got to watch that stuff. And like I said earlier, I'm not endorsing we should all go outside and burn garbage or burn pallets. I'm not saying that. Please don't do that, okay? Not a good idea, okay? Just saying. That's what they're doing over there. Let them do that. Let's keep our cool here. Let's just watch it play out. We don't know what's going to happen yet, but we do know for a fact Social Security will be changing. We know that. It will be happening. How it's going to change? We don't know the full details yet. There's a lot of proposals out there, and again, why I want to bring it to your attention. Anyway, hope this one brings you some more information. Again, I'm here for you in any way that I can be. I'm watching all this stuff closely. I'm like an elephant, right? I got my, well, I was going to say my ear on the ground, but I think elephants, for some reason, I think elephants can like feel or sense something through their feet, right? Have you ever heard that? Pretty cool stuff. Anyway, I should do more research on that so I can better understand that, but I believe elephants have some kind of really cool abilities where they can feel like vibrations or something through their feet, and they can like sense something from miles and miles away. I don't know. Pretty cool stuff. I'm going to research that now because I'm super curious. But yeah, heard that at one point. Anyway, hope this one helps you. Again, please subscribe down below. It's totally free to do so. Share this video with your friends, family, social media, and go back and check out any of the other thousands of videos here on the channel. Until next time, enjoy your day. Have a good one. Stay safe out there. Enjoy. Take care. And catch you again later in the next video.